I believe you. So, good evening once more, everyone. Let me start again. Oh, okay. You can hear me now. So, let me start again. My name is Mazes, okay? And this evening, it has been a very fantastic evening, and it is still a fantastic evening. And this is Friday Hangout. Today, I will be having a visitor that many of you, I will be having a guest that many of you know, and that will be the Amazon of the Niger Delta, in the person of my dear elder sister, Annkio Briggs. She will be joining me, and we will be having series of conversations. It's not only one topic. We have topics ranging from, we will be revisiting the Igbo Church saga in Lagos, and we'll revisit that. We will dwell on these incidents that happened this week, where a police officer in Adamawa State, basically did not want a land sold, a house sold close to his, but because that house is going to be occupied by someone, not by his own fault, because the individual is of another ethnic origin, the police officer, who is trained to be a Nigerian by training, by outlook, by association, now suddenly said he's not going to accept it for that individual to be his neighbor. So we will be looking into that. Now, as well, there is this conversation now that have been trending since yesterday. The second Niger bridge is almost coming on stream. But sadly, this bridge, well, let me not say sadly, because people might have a different opinion. But this bridge is now said to be named after President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm like, this is a PPP project, but it is being named after President Muhammadu Buhari. Again, many people and some school of thought have said, no, that is not correct. And some of you are also saying that, it means absolute nothing, whether whether it is named after Buhari or it is named after Goodluck Jonathan, that it does not matter to them or to you. So whatever that may be, we will quickly start the conversation. So I'm still waiting for my guest to come in. Obviously, and as many of you will know, if we want to just have a quickly roundup of what has trended and what has happened in the country in the last 1 week. Today, there is something again. If you're around here in Nigeria, you will know that the fuel scarcity is biting harder. Why? Because the federal government, or rather the NNPC, is, imported bad fuel, bad one, right? NNPC imported bad fuel. Not only that NNPC imported bad fuel, this fuel was sold to people. And now some people have had issues with their car. Some engine knocked. Some, obviously gone to mechanic, those bad fuel were drained. People who weren't aware, because you don't go to filling station and tell them, show me the petrol before you can put it inside. Because everybody was buying out of the way it ought to be. But sadly, this thing happened this way. But not for me, that is the news. The news here is what the government is wanting order. See, Nigeria is a crime scene. Let me share this with us. Get your calculator. Let's say if we are right. Now, Nigeria is saying that they are going to treat that fuel that they imported. Tell me if this is not corruption incorporated. This is what the NNPC is wanting to watch this out. Now, NNPC is now saying they will use, you see that from Guardian newspaper, Vanguard newspaper. That's how much they want to use in cleaning up that fuel. 170.25 million liters. They may spend 201 billion to clean it up. 201 billion. People, think about it. if they use, if it, you know, when Dad was alive, he would say, you know, many of you who are not deep in Igbo may not understand that. Means when you laugh with that much, how much would you eventually save? So what it means is, if the value, if NNPC is telling us 170 million points 25, 170.25 million liters of PMS, you know, is going to be cleaned up with. So let's assume that the fuel price as we buy today is 165. Yeah. So if you times it 165 million, so 165 naira by 170.25 million liters, how much is it going to give you? 28.1 billion. Now tell me, NNPCs, they're saying they are going to use 201 billion. That is almost 9 times the price. Then you start asking yourself, why? Why are they doing this? You know, it's unbelievable. But I think now I have my guest here. I will be bringing my guest in shortly to help me look at this, because this one, you know, in my place they say that snake where one person see, you know, they say it becomes python. And join me to welcome my good sister Annkio Briggs. Good evening. Welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sis. You know, this evening we will just have, you know, a normal conversation. I think before you join me, I've been ranting my life away on the bad fuel we now buy here. You know, a nation. You know, let's start with that one. What do you think? A nation. We have an NPC. We have DPRA. We have all the chemical. We have oil. We drill our own oil. We export it. They refine it and bring bad one to us. I mean, isn't that a tragedy?
Well, good evening, everyone. The truth of the matter.
Sorry,
of the matter.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think it's turned itself around. Anyway, yeah. The truth of the matter is Nigeria is a tragedy. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello? Okay.
Go ahead.
Is the focus? Okay, the focus is all right too. Okay. Yes. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria itself is a tragedy, and that's just the truth. Because the problem we have is the inability or the refusal of our people, whether politicians or businessmen or ordinary people like you and I, who have taken it upon ourselves to participate in the way that we do. I think most times people refuse to tell themselves the truth and or refuse to hear the truth, and actually feel that somehow if we ignore the truth, that everything is just going to turn around and be all right. The issue of lifting oil and sending it abroad at whatever price that the Nigerian government does it, and at whatever time and place we're told that this is how much we have lifted, and then to find ourselves in a position where we buy back what we call finished product into Nigeria is a tragedy. It is a tragedy because we do not know how much oil, whether it's Bonny Light, whether it's Brent, whatever it is called, we don't know how much we are lifting out of this country. What we are told depends on what the oil companies and the middlemen tell us that they have lifted. That's one. Then you bring in a finished product. How crazy is it that we do not know the quality of what we're bringing in? Sometimes we don't even know the quantity of what we're bringing in, because the middlemen tell us how much they have brought in. In my analysis, even the NNPC is not aware, the so-called NNPC that is the one that is supposed to import this finished product, does not know how much is coming in. We've been told stories of sometimes that they bring in empty vessels, or vessels that are ghost. I call them ghost vessels, because they don't exist, but they only exist on paper. Just the same way things like the budget for, say, the NDDC, or the budget for the Ministry of Niger Delta, or any of the agencies. We don't know. We are told, and we get to accept. So how is it that we are not aware of the quality of the finished product that is coming in? So it means that Nigeria is not involved at the point where this product is loaded for testing, for instance. So if it is tested at point of loading, then we should be sure what is coming in is quality. And unless, of course, it is changed mid-ocean, that they change it and it becomes contaminated product. Now, we are subsidizing we're subsidizing product that is contaminated.
Hold on here for clarity. Let us think about this. You know, there is a refinery that has quality assurance procedures. There is a refinery that is doing this, whether we are buying or whether they are refining for us. There are procedures, there are test procedures. It was tested, it was signed off, it was loaded, it came into Nigeria. We have a people we pay. Their job is go to work every month, every day. Do this for the nation. You get paid millions. And it slipped everything, loaded into tankers, distributed across Nigeria, until Nigerians now, who now came into, because how did this thing start? People who have I Pass My Neighbor started buying petrol with ever water can that is transparent. I said, look, are you people selling tea for us? Because it looked like Ovaltine with milk. So you can imagine. So what beats me silly is, I mean, you know, thinking about it, you tell me that there was nobody in authority that conspired for this to happen. I think it's not possible that nobody knew. It passed all these processes abroad, Nigeria, to a point that it was only the end user who noticed it. I mean, that is criminal.
Of course it is. Of course it is. That is exactly what it is. And don't forget that we are subsidizing. Our listeners should should take a step back and listen to this. That is that we have lifted this thing out. It has been refined. It's been brought back to us. And at the point of retail, at the time where you and I buy it, and it knocks the engine, or it spoils the I Better Pass My Neighbor, or somebody's 10 million or 2 million diesel generator or car, then we now realize that the product is contaminated. It's crazy. But then that is how Nigeria itself is. That is how we vote in, or they vote in, because I don't vote in for the politicians that are there now. Now, this is how we vote people in, and then come to realize that they don't have capacity, as they call it. The capacity is now the new word in Nigeria now, attached to politics, because everybody who wants to run now is claiming to have capacity, and their campaigners are claiming that they have capacity. I don't think that they even in Nigeria, people understand. Well, they have capacity to run Nigeria. You hear our brother saying that he's going to pilot Nigeria. Nigeria is a 747 that he's going to pilot, and that if we feel some turbulences, we shouldn't worry. He's in control, and that it's just crazy. It really is just insane, as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly,
it's insane. I don't know these people, how they get to make decisions on our behalf, and as long as we allow people like this not to be held accountable. I mean, the Ministry of Petroleum, the NNPC, it has a chairman or a director or whatever they do. There is somebody in charge in NDDC. And then a couple of days ago, I had one of the, I said NDDC, NNPC. A couple of days ago, watching the news, I had one of the NNPC staff, senior staff, say that they are still at a learning curve. I mean, you've been importing finished product for decades, and you are still at a learning curve. I don't understand. What is there to learn in importing? Well, we've seen what there is to learn in importing finished product. We don't know what we're doing. They don't know what they're doing. There is no place else in the world. I don't know, Mazi, if you remember, a few weeks ago, a country in South America stopped the hierarchy, the director or how many directors of an oil company from leaving their country. They were held under house arrest. There is nothing else you can call it. They refused them to leave their country where there is pollution, to go back to their own country. They held them. And so in Nigeria, the army and the police and the navy and the air force will escort them to the airport.
We are indeed in a terrible time. Honestly, we're indeed in a terrible time. And the more you think about it, the more it hurts, basically. But at the end of the day, the news there that I wanted us to to look at, the news there for me is this. If we look at this data on the screen, now the news here for me is that the value of what they are proposing to use in cleaning it up is humongous, 201 billion. Now, if you multiply, let's say for argument's sake, for the 170 million liters, and we say we are going to clean each, if you divide that by 1/6, sorry, if you multiply that by 165, which is the pump price, it's going to be giving you about 28.1 billion. So the question is, and we still say in this nation that we have a minister of petroleum. I don't know. And in all this, nobody is getting punished. Nobody is getting, just it appears nobody is in charge. Is anyone actually in charge?
That is the truth. That is just the truth. Nigeria, I've said it before in the past, that the Nigeria that we definitely are in since 2015 is on is not even on autopilot. It's not even on autopilot. It is a train. I actually described it as a train, a moving train, a fast speed train with no brakes. And so whenever it gets to where it is that it's supposed to be going to, it will crash. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. It's just incredible. People, I mean, Mazi, people are laughing at Nigeria. How does a country, the so-called sixth largest oil producing country, maybe by now I hear one other country has overtaken us or something like that, that produces so much crude oil and finds itself where it is lifting this oil out, subletting it for refining. And we have 4 refineries in Nigeria. And we have the one man building the largest refinery in the world. My brother, even America and China have not ventured into building the largest refinery in the world. What is I don't understand the hunger to be identified as building the largest refinery in the world. Are we going to supply the whole of the world with finished product? Is America going to buy the finished product from us to sell in America? And yet, Mazi, this same largest refinery in the world, the country Nigeria is borrowing billions of dollars to invest in the largest refinery in the world based in Lagos, so that it can now invest in the largest refinery in the world. In the meantime, the so-called investor, Nigeria, has 4 refineries that are redundant, that are not refining anything. So you have to ask yourself, how on earth did we get here? How? And that is why at the end of the day, many people resort to calling on God, because what you cannot do as a Christian, you believe that the only person who can do it in God. And so we become ridiculous that we can do things for ourselves and yet we're unable to do those things. And then we call on God to do these things. God didn't vote for this government. Nigerians did. Your people did. My people did. People from Niger Delta, people from Southeast, Southwest, people from Middle Belt. They voted this government into power. And today they are calling on God. God did not vote for these people. We voted for these people. I'm not amongst the people that voted for this government. Nigerians claim to have voted for this government. And yet they're calling on God. Well, it's amazing.
I think Nigerians are beaten. We are beaten down to a point where we can only believe that it is only God that can do certain things for us. But anyway, let's move on to the next issue here. Obviously that's a total failure that the government cannot provide petrol. Now, recently we had, I don't know what your take is, and I did have a program, believe on Tuesday or Wednesday, a pastor, or rather, not a pastor, a reverend father in the Catholic Church in Ikorodu in Lagos suddenly started making some utterances saying that they should stop singing Igbo song in that church. And it led to him being sacked by his bishop, no, not being sacked, but suspended by his bishop. Now, if you stay on that lane, do you think he was right in making such utterances, or that the Catholic Church was right in suspending him, or do you consider that, in any way, shape, or form, that he is, or he could be right in his own thinking for making such utterances?
Well, Mazi, what I've come to realize in all of this in the past how many decades now, being active in expressing my beliefs, my preferences, and all of that, whether it is about politics or even about the God that I believe in and that I serve, is that anything is possible in Nigeria. It does not matter whether they are men of God, or it doesn't matter whether they are politicians. If not, my brother, we have Igbo Bible. We have Igbo Bible. I don't know who this pastor is, whether he's Igbo, he's from Yoruba, he's from Ijo, he's from Efik, wherever. I don't know. But now, even in China, where they oppress Christians, and in Russia and places like that, they have Bibles in those languages, in some of those languages. So to hear that a priest, whether it's a Catholic priest or an Anglican priest, it doesn't matter, that a priest say that they should stop singing songs in Igbo. I was going to mention this particular clip that you have shown. A friend of mine, a Nigerian friend of mine, who lives in Ireland, sent me this clip also that is trending now. You can see Oyibo people praising God in Ireland, not in Ikorodu. And then praise God in Igbo language in Ikorodu. So you ask yourself, is he asking that because he hates Igbo language? Is he asking that because he dislikes Igbo language? Or did God tell him that he doesn't understand Igbo? Or did God tell him that he doesn't like Igbo language? So you can see that this is a personal decision. And then when you bring personal decisions into something like faith, whether it is a Christian faith or any other faith, you begin to wonder, who are these people and how did they get to be in the position that they are in? In the born again Christian way of interacting with God, we speak in tongues. So maybe somebody will get up one day and say we should stop speaking in tongues. So I begin to wonder what is happening to people. How can you single out a language? You have got to hate that language, or have a dislike for that language, or for the people that own that language. So Nigeria is in a mess. It's gone into the worship of God, that anybody who believes in God can wake up one morning and put a ban on a language.
There is something that I personally wanted to bring out to this, which is, when you actually look at this issue in question, in Catholic Church, you have choristers, you have people who sing in the church now, and they control. They have certain songs, they write them down, they say this is the song we're going to use for today, right? That's applicable in most churches.
Yes.
And in most cases, the reverend fathers are the ones who are the head of those, obviously they say this is the songs and whatever, hymn, whatever we're going to sing. But what worries me personally is he is in control of the choir department or the choristers or whatever. Couldn't he have spoken to them if, let's say, there was an overbearing Igbo-ness? Why must he wait to make it a public affair? I think that's what got many people speaking. Now, the question is, should the people who have been singing and who are now being told you can no longer sing in your local language and they have been singing pro bono, should they go back and start charging now for the ones they sang free of charge? Or or should they, because like I said, it doesn't, when I think about all these things, it doesn't make sense. This is the church. After this conversation, we move to the next one that is related to this. So when you think about it, I'm thinking, isn't this, I don't know, if I say spiritual hatred, I don't know. It's, because like you rightly said before, you mentioned if someone is speaking in tongue, I wouldn't, I can imagine where somebody is in the spirit, firing on without knowing which language you are speaking, and somebody taps at your back and say, my friend, I don't like that language that you are speaking in the spirit. Stop it. So, but if we come back to this again, do you think, without us, you and I knowing this, don't you think that maybe the reason why Igbo song was predominantly sung in that church was because the Igbos were more in number? And they were also the people who were, agreeing to sing, because now you don't get paid. They were the ones also agreeing to pay. And in that church, even in the building of that church, they were the ones dipping their hands in the pocket to even build the church. So do you think that the pastor would have settled this matter differently without causing this public outcry that he had caused now?
Look, this is a very sensitive issue. And not only is it a very sensitive issue, it is an issue that it drives at what is really wrong with this country. And the concern I have as a believer, as a Christian, I'm not a Catholic, as a believer and as a Christian, what bothers me is the fact that we're now trying to adjust, if you like, or even trying to have an understanding of perhaps how he should have gone about this very offensive way of addressing an issue of, say, he as a person thinks that they are singing too much Igbo songs. Let me tell you, in my community, most of the time, when I go home and I end up in church at home, the church that I actually grew up in, St. Paul's Yemoni Church, that I grew up in, they teach in Kalabari, they sing in Kalabari. So I don't understand what we're trying to justify here, that Igbos are singing Igbo songs in obviously a church that is not in Igbo land. And we're now trying to adjust, if you like, to the fact that perhaps because most of the choir or choristers or members of the choir are Igbos, so therefore they were singing mainly Igbo songs. I attend Salvation Ministry, and I have done so for the past 20 years. In my church, they sing in Yoruba, they sing in Igbo, they sing in Akwa Ibom dialects, they sing in English, they sing in South Africa dialects. So I don't understand how we want to be able to try and accommodate the Reverend Father. The church was very correct in whether they sacked him or whether they removed him, whether that means he can no longer conduct mass or whether he can no longer give communion or hear confessions or whatever. I don't know what sacking of a priest or removing a priest from a particular church to another, whatever the case may be. But I think that if they want to keep the unity of their church, one, and if they actually are a church that worships God, then they are right to remove him. The Bible, if we believe it, the Bible said that Jesus said to his disciples when he was ascending, going back up, that they should wait here, praying and praising and praying until the Holy Ghost comes down on them. And they ended up speaking in tongues when the Holy Ghost came down. Now, I mean, that's very clear that people can sing or praise or pray to God in any language that they are comfortable in. Now, at the congregation, did the congregation complain that they are singing too many Igbo songs? I don't know, but I will not attend a church and I will not be a member of a church where a song is going to be banned, not because of the content is anti-God or anti-Christian or whatever, but that the dialect the song is being sung in is what is offensive. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's ungodly. I think it's not the thing that God is telling us to do, and it's just ridiculous. I don't know. Now, I'm not a Catholic.
Many people have actually classified that as, some have said is tribalist, some have said is racism, some have called it all manner of names. Some have even gone further to say there is nothing different from what he has done to what ordinary people outside the church is doing. Which brings us to the next story here, which is that a police deputy commissioner threatens violence against an Igbo man for buying property near his house in Adamawa. This is the man in question. Now, when you look at this vis-a-vis, juxtaposing it to the issue of the church, does it not seem to be that there is a problem that is sort of brewing up, that suddenly you're looking at, even in church, this is happening 2 days later, you're reading that the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Babazango, has allegedly threatened violence attack against one Vincent Ume for buying property near his house in Adamawa State. Okay. So once you now read this and you kind of ask yourself, how come that, because that was an audio, right? Where where Babazango was heard warning Ume to reverse the purchase deal or face better consequences, including no guarantee of his own personal safety, maybe because he's a police officer. Now you kind of wonder how come, and some people have actually begun to make connection with this, with the statement once made by the Sadoana of Sokoto, you know, that I think I made that video as well, because obviously
Yeah.
that the Sadwana where he
Premier, well,
said the following when a
Yeah.
reporter asked him regarding the way the Igbos are progressing in his own place, you know, because I think what is happening within the leadership sometimes cascades, you know, sometimes goes down to the people subconsciously.
Mm.
Some are trying to make, with this police case in Adamawa, obviously,
Mm.
South also being a northerner, some are trying to
Mm.
make a connection between what
Mm.
Sadwana said here and what the
in
police.
here is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with Northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions coming out with a...
So now, having watched this, you know, is there any connection to make between this video and the threat by these police person in Adamawa State?
Excuse me. Mazi, my brother. You know me, when I speak the truth. At least, definitely what I know and can defend as the truth. It's, in my opinion, in my considered opinion, based on a lot of things. If you look at the words that he used, he was asked a specific question by a young British journalist at that time, which is almost 60-something years ago now, at independence and all of that. He used the word dominate. This is his opinion of Igbo people that are obviously industrious people, and there is no denying that there is hardly any place in Nigeria where you will go, you won't find an Igbo man, not to talk of in the world. And then he used the word monopolize, that they want to monopolize, they want to dominate. He's already setting the Igbos who will be Nigerians and foreigners to see the Igbo man as his problem, and inviting other people to see the Igbo man as their problem, because the Igbos want to dominate, they want to monopolize. When you want to dominate and you want to monopolize, we all know what that means. Now, set that aside. He was pushed further, and he said that in 1952, going back almost 70 years today, he was informing them at that time, maybe 8 years, 10 years before 1952 and after independence, that these Igbo people, that he have decided that there should be a northernization program. And actually, he was confirming that there's a northernization program on. So even before independence, the desire has always been in the north that it is northern Nigeria first. I'm using words and dissecting words and sentences that he made, and that he is finding it difficult that his people have not been alive to their responsibility. What is this responsibility? That responsibility he's referring to is to see the Igbo man as a dominating and monopolizing human being. Okay, so let's set that aside. Now, in the same time frame, in 1960, on the 11th of October, 10 days after the independence of Nigeria, there is a quote that you can Google in the internet and you will find it, where it is said that this is his quote, and he is saying in this quote that this new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great-grandfather, Uthman Dan Fodio. Now, he's referring to an independent nation as of this time, of which himself, his ethnic nationality, my ethnic nationality, your ethnic, and all the over 400 or so we're told ethnic nationalities, he is saying that we are an estate of his great-grandfather, Uthman Dan Fodio. This is a sense of ownership. We move forward. He said, we must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. Ruthlessly prevent a change of power. That power, that change of power he was talking about, to ruthlessly prevent, is still the change of power that people, the North, that consider themselves owners of Nigeria, are still trying to prevent this change of power ruthlessly. Let's move forward. We shall use the minorities of the North as willing tools. Well, I'm not in the North, and I don't consider myself a minority, so the people he's referring to must know by now who they are. And then he says, and the South as a conquered territory. Now, I'm part of the South. Now, he wants us to be seen as a conquered territory and never allow them, that is us, to rule over us, that is them, and never allow them, which is us, to have control over their future. That is what is happening in Nigeria. That is what has been happening in Nigeria. So when this police officer have called a Nigerian, whom we are told by these same northerners, when we complain about Ruga, when we complain about them moving into our territories and laying claim to our territories, we are told that it is one Nigeria and that Nigerians are free to move around and live wherever they want to live, which is constitutional. Now, when an Igbo man ended up buying a house next to a public servant, a police officer, who is a public servant, who should know better, who knows the law, is now threatening physical harm to a man who counted his money and bought a house near him. He considers the Igbo near him so unworthy as a human being that he does not want this Igbo man to live next to him. Who is he? But you see, that is the thing we are talking about. That is the mentality. They have this mentality of ownership. They have this mentality of I am better. They have this mentality of what they want is what must be upheld. If not, where in this world, if you're not a troublemaker, where in this world can you say to a person, to his face? It happens. It happens in the UK where neighbors hate the neighbor. Yes, it happens. We can't say that it doesn't happen. Even in America and in other places, even in China, the Chinese hate black people. It's very clear, and we've seen video clips of it and stuff like that. From the way that diplomat was treated to the way that one Igbo young man was beaten up with rods for dating a Chinese girl and all of those things. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this type of behavior, this type of attitude is unacceptable worldwide. And therefore, for us now to be experiencing it openly, blatantly from the church, no less, where the church, a man who is supposed to bring people closer to God, is telling them you cannot sing a song in a particular language because I don't like that language or because I don't like the people, to the point where in 60 years ago, the Ahmadu Bello had said that the Igbos, he looked down on them from what he said. He has his opinion of them that is not flattering, that does not provide for, that does not lay the grounds for friendship or brotherhood, to the point where he is making it very clear that the Igbos in the north, he considers them people who have come to dominate him. And so anything he will do to stop them from denying them employment, to denying them their right to live in his part of Nigeria, that's 60 years ago. That we have that same thing playing out by a man in office, who's supposed to be above the law because he's supposed to uphold the law. So if a policeman can say that and repeats it and is standing his ground that he has a right to say it, and he's still in that police force, then we have a problem. Because now, in my opinion, no Igbo man under that man can expect to be treated fairly or justly, or get promoted or get recommended for doing a good job. Because why? He can't even stand an Igbo man to live next to him. So if he cannot stand an Igbo man to live next to him, how can he stand an Igbo man to work under him in the same police station or in the same police order of where I mean, Mazi, it's and you know what is amazing? What is amazing is that we have a government that will not react on this, will not speak about it, because it is obviously normal to them. It is obviously okay to them. If not, that policeman that is a public servant is working and being paid from my tax and the tax of the man that he finds unfit to live next to him, is still in office, is still getting dressed up and going to work as a police officer. I have no confidence in him that he will not formulate a case and pin it on an Igbo man just because he doesn't like him, or that he will not pull out his gun and shoot the Igbo man just because he doesn't like him. These are the fears that we get thrown at us as people when this type of things are allowed to stand. He should be suspended from his work, because he cannot work with any other person but his own. But then, after saying that, I also say to myself, well, even at the highest level, even the president is appointing only his own people. So maybe we should also sack the president for doing that. You know, at the end of the day, Mazi, I've said it in the past, it is whatever is happening in Nigeria that is wrong, that is offensive, that is unacceptable, is allowed to happen because we allow it to happen, and we have accepted it as people, as Nigerians, for what it is worth. Well, we're Nigerians because we're in Nigeria. So we allow it to happen. And as long as we don't find this offensive and people are not calling for his resignation, his removal from office, people wherever he is in Lagos are still prepared to accommodate him. Look, if an Igbo man is not good enough to live next to him, who tells him that he is good enough to live next to anybody else in Lagos? Or is he going to wake up one day and tell people in Lagos who own Lagos, Yoruba people, that they are not good enough to live next to him? Nigeria is ridiculous, but I think we are more ridiculous as citizens for letting Nigeria carry on the way Nigeria is carrying on.
Now, we'll conclude on that one, but before we do, let me bring this to our attention. On the screen, you can see that obviously that news was originally reported by Sahara reporters. Now, you can see here where it clearly says the man in question had gone to the police to report, but sadly, the police appear to be saying they have not received any report. I mean, it's as expected. Again, it says, let me quickly read that section out. However, investigation by Sahara reporters revealed that the complainant had actually lodged a complaint at the Zone 3 Police Command Yola, as well as the Department of State Services. A copy of the complaint seen by Sahara reporters read in part: complaints of criminal intimidation threat against Babanzo. I could remember sometime in December 2021, I bought a house close to my shop from one Baba Toho with GSM number, blah, 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 of Mohammed Mustafa Way, Jimeta Yola, at the cost of 16 million naira, and cash transfer was made via the bank. Then on February 2nd, 2022, at about 15:27 hours, the above named person, police officer, called me with GSM number. So for those of you who may wish to send him a thank you message, his number is 0803-9519-033. So he said that he was threatening me that if I tamper with the house I bought, he will send his boys to kill me. He warned me and recorded our conversation, he added. So basically, you can see here that the man in question had gone to the police, but as usual, it appears the police, he has a complaint, which he has shown to Sahara reporters, but from all indication, it appears the complaint is about to be swallowed by anything. It could be monkey, it could be snake in the monkey shadow, the swallowables in Nigeria be swallowed as usual. So to round up this one, I think you're on point here. Whatever the leadership does gets to the bottom, to the people, because as they say, na fish will go rot, na from head they take start. So it's a reflection, because if not, and sometimes Nigerians can be docile, if not, there ought to have been a total outrage, because listen, this is not because this person is evil. It is also wrong. I don't bloody care if that person is Yoruba, if it's Joe, It is as if you say you are in the same country, that you are a federating unit and you have the right to live anywhere you want. And this how question was sold for 16 million. The agent, obviously by the name, you obviously know where he came from. He has made his money. If he has taken 10%, that's 1.6 million. If it's, if he took 5%, that's half of 1.6 million. So however you dice it, someone also, he has created value in the society he was or he lived in, where he also lives in. He's creating value. He's not taking people's farmland or people's shop by force. He's not driven someone into an IDP camp. He's creating, yet someone, I think the Nigerian state should do more. And honestly, I think the Nigerian state should do more. Because if you want people to begin to see themselves as citizens, you must begin to protect the citizens. Because how you treat the lower cadre of your citizens is, clearly shows how serious a government is. I don't know, maybe in 1 minute, your concluding thought on this topic. Then we'll get to the last one that was going to be on the second Niger bridge. Again, almost in line with the same conversation this evening. So what's your conclusion?
Quite honestly, the response of the police, which I would think is coming from the police complaints or the IG or whatever, wherever that response is coming from, is shameful. It's shameful in the sense that even if, let us assume that there was no complaint even, it is the responsibility of the police that is charged with the responsibility of keeping the peace and law and order, where a complaint or even a rumored complaint at this time where the country is as hot as it is, if nothing else, the police itself, hearing this, owes itself the responsibility. Let us assume that they have lost the complaint and that they are not aware of such a complaint. Let us even assume that. If the police says, well, this is what we had, we are investigating it, that would be the right thing to do. Now, to find ourselves in a position where the police is saying that they have not received any complaint, for me, it just shows that they are covering up. It's not true.
And
it's a shame.
That, the man in question has a copy of the complaint, so it's not like something is done. And anyway, it's unbelievable. Now, in conclusion here, in so many WhatsApp forums, that has actually divided a lot of the people of the Southeast, especially the Igbos, where they say, and they begin to question some of their siblings and say, why do you still buy properties outside Igbo land and especially in the north? Now, do you think it is a good thing, considering that Nigeria is a federation whereby the mere right of your citizens, of your citizenship, you should be able to live peacefully anywhere you choose to live? Now, people are saying, sell your properties there, go home. I mean, is that right advice? Because if you do that, your enclave where you have today, is it going to contain all of you? Or rather, should we fix, if we say we are in this nation together, everybody must have equal rights?
See, when it comes to this, that I have said is very sensitive and remains very sensitive. For me, as a person, I will never go to a place where I know I am not welcome. That's one. Whether the Constitution allows me or not, I won't go. But then that's me. I will not invest in an environment that is unfriendly. Well, that's me. Now, people have to make their own choices and have to make their own decisions at the type of risks they are prepared to take in the name of Nigeria. Is Nigeria really one? Is Nigeria really united to the extent that this type of a thing can happen to somebody? I assure you, Mazi, that if somebody buys a house in Rivers State here, in Port Harcourt, and he's from Adamawa or Zamfara or wherever, Yola or wherever this guy has bought his house, and he happens to be a northerner, or he happens to be from Zamfara, and he buys a house near a Rivers man, an Ijo man or an Ikwere man, and the man walks up to him and threatens him the way that this our brother has been threatened. I assure you that not only will it be that people from his area will be up in arms, like Arewa and all those type of things, even my own people, my own politicians will take sides. You know, so you ask yourself, what is more important, your life or your right to where you are, who you are? You know, this is a personal choice. In my personal opinion, as I have said, I won't go to a place where I know I'm not wanted, and I will not invest in a place where I know I'm not wanted, full stop. So people who do that must realize by now that they take risks of losing everything that they think that they are protecting.
Anyway, that's a fine one there. Now to go to the next item, which is likely to be the last one. Here we have the second Niger Bridge. The second Niger Bridge, the Ogidigbo conversation of this evening. The second Niger Bridge, I did have last year. I had a Twitter encounter with Ajule Ngalala, or whatever he's called. The guy
He's from my state.
Okay, so Vanguard published something saying the bridge was not be ready, and I replied and I tagged him. I said, "Is the bridge going to be ready?" He assured me, and I made a screenshot. But sadly, I changed my phone. But yesterday, I went, I went back to Twitter. Sadly, let me see if I can find it. The tweet that he made, where he was assuring me, has been deleted. And obviously, the good thing about these things are, even if it's deleted, it's going to show you this tweet is no longer available.
Yeah.
But one of the tweets is still there, where he said second Niger Bridge still stays on course till February. Myself, 2 weeks ago, I was at the second Niger Bridge site. I also saw, obviously, work is ongoing. I believe the bridge will be ready this year, but I do not believe that the bridge will be ready in February, because we are in February. From what I saw 2 weeks ago, work is ongoing. The bridge is not going to be ready. However, now, the president, you know, we started reading yesterday that the bridge is going to be named after
Bashir Ahmed, the personal assistant to.
Now, this is a discussion by Arise TV team. Let's have a listen to what they said regarding
Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on New Media on Thursday shared a video of the second Niger Bridge via Twitter, stating that it will be named after President Muhammadu Buhari and not his predecessor, Goodluck Jonathan, which has generated debates on the microblogging platform. His tweet read, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Muhammadu Buhari Bridge, a 1.6-kilometer bridge that will be a major connection point between two economically vital regions in Nigeria." Well, one Twitter user named Green Nation challenged the tweet, stating that it wasn't Buhari who initiated the project, and neither did he use his salary to construct the bridge, and that it should be called the second Niger Bridge or the Southern Link Bridge. In a swift response to Green Nation, Bashir Ahmed tweeted, So can we call it Good Luck Jonathan Bridge for sketching the bridge? Further insisting that the bridge will be called Muhammadu Buhari Bridge. People are just attacking the street on social media, but I think it will be a great legacy for President Muhammadu Buhari because he actually did, complete the bridge.
Of course he did.
Yes.
Well, for me, the name is neither here nor there. I'm just so glad because I'm so sure you all are of hearing about the phantom second Niger Bridge, as was called for so long.
Correct,
Every election cycle, it's promised and does not materialize. The good news here is that there's something to be named and the kind of sort of economic opportunities, economic gains that will accrue from it. That for me is the bottom line. I really don't care about the argument about the name.
It's actually very sensitive for a lot of people, especially people from the East.
Why?
Because obviously, I believe your former boss,
Okay.
Dr. Abati,
This is a
started the bridge.
This is a bridge that links
the
West, the Midwest, to the East. And that bridge has been there for decades.
Yes.
Since independence
50
or even
years
before the independence.
I think for context here, I think it's good we hear Ruben Abati out because he made some salient points here.
Yes. As an undergraduate in Calabar, I used to go through that Onitsha bridge. And you go there, very narrow bridge. It's been like that since then. Right? I was a teenager then. I'm preparing to be an old man now, and yet Nigeria has not done anything about it. So problem with maintenance of infrastructure. Now, the fight over how it should be named or not, I think it's an unnecessary distraction.
Of course.
The people of the Southeast have always made that bridge a priority to open up the Southeast, to reduce that traffic gridlock between the Midwest and the East, and to reduce the pain that people suffer spending hours on that particular bridge as they try to move from Asaba into Onitsha. And that bridge goes all the way to a place called Ogbaru. It's not about who takes the name. It's about the value of that bridge, of the infrastructure for the people. It was scheduled to be completed in 2022. And now that people are beginning to talk about who should take the credit, they just needed to be reminded of a little bit of history. That second Niger Bridge was first proposed as a campaign issue in 1978-79 by the Shehu Shagari government during the campaigns. The MPN, the National Party of Nigeria, talked about it. When later the Babangida administration took over, the Babangida administration, or President Babangida as it then was, challenged the Nigerian Society of Engineers to submit designs for that bridge. But that didn't work. Subsequent, military administrations didn't quite focus on it. Until when President Obasanjo took over. President Obasanjo also talked about it as a priority. But he flagged it off before President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua took over. And that was just 5 days to the time he was leaving. So nothing concrete was done under Obasanjo. But it was in 2012 that President Goodluck Jonathan now got National Assembly to vote money for it, and work started on that bridge under President Goodluck Jonathan. Because as a campaign issue, President Jonathan in the 2011 campaigns had promised the people of the Southeast that he would deliver that bridge. Okay, as it turned out, he couldn't deliver it before leaving office in 2015. And then you had the Buhari administration continuing with that project. And I think that the Buhari administration should be commended for continuing many of the projects that fell under the the Jonathan administration, whether it's railway, whether it's IPs, or some of these other things. That's the spirit. Government is continuous, because you find in many parts of Nigeria, once a governor leaves or a president leaves, no matter how well-meaning that person's project may be, they will be abandoned. The only area where we criticize President Jonathan and Buhari regard to probably the outcome of the 2014 National Political Conference, which his administration just threw into the dustbin. But in other areas, he has continued, and this is one of such good examples. Of course.
So now, this video has given us background and it has given us context. To start with, personally, disclaimer here, I find it irritating, very, very irritating, when government does something with our own money, with monies borrowed on our own behalf, monies you and I will pay the interest. They will be doing as if they are doing us a favor. Granted that other presidents before now failed to build the bridge. But this issue of naming this bridge after the president, because I would listen, I would have the same issue. If the bridge is named after Goodluck Jonathan, I would still kick, because for Christ's sake, he wasn't done with his money. If the bridge is named after Buhari, I think it's, I don't know. Personally, I think that is, you know, it's an insult taken too far, because why should I? We have what's it called? First Mainland Bridge. It wasn't named after the person that built it. He was a military dictator. It wasn't named after him. So why was this craze and madness of naming that bridge after him? What's your thought?
Well, if you follow the trend of our discussion through the points that you have raised for discussion, we started with a topic that started as a sense of ownership. I think we're ending with the same sense of ownership. You know, when it comes to naming a road, a bridge, to immortalize, if you like, anybody.
For yourself.
Yeah, to immortalize anybody, it should primarily be a thing that is done by the people. For instance, I followed what Abati said. Now, if you even go from the history that he has given for the second Niger Bridge, you begin to see the sense of ownership emerging. Now, we're told Shagari started it. Then Obasanjo came into it. Then Yaradua came into it. Then Goodluck Jonathan came into it. So now Buhari is in it. So why don't we just name it the Shagari, Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan
Buhari Bridge.
Yes, Buhari Bridge. You know, most times when things like this, if you remember, in Jonathan's tenure, he named the UNILAG, the University of Lagos. He named the University of Lagos, yes, at one of the independence celebration. He named it after Annkio Abiola. And why did he do that? What was the reason for that? Well, Abiola was a man that was very interested in education. He himself came from, as he said, from nothing to the level where he got an education, and he became one of the greatest sons of Nigeria that Nigeria killed. And so those were the sentiments behind Jonathan. He's a Yoruba son. So in honoring him, you're actually honoring the Yoruba nation. But you can see the rejection by the Yoruba people, no less. It was not other people that agitated against Goodluck Jonathan. The decision he had already made to name UNILAG after Annkio Abiola, not because Annkio Abiola.
Was that not also part of, was that rejection not part of, you know, the 2013, 2014 campaign of Jonathan Must Go? Was Jonathan to be in power today and he named the bridge today, would they have still kicked?
This is what, that's where I'm going. You know, so at the end of the day, if Jonathan had attempted to name the bridge that he had not delivered after himself, would it have been accepted? I don't know. If today Buhari and Buhari's government or Buhari's supporters want to name the Niger Bridge after Buhari, for whatever the reasons are, I think it is let the bridge be finished, and whatever name they choose to call the bridge, and if it is okay with the people on whose land the bridge crosses. You know, they're saying, Abati said, oh, it's a bridge that hooks up the economy of a particular place, the north and the obviously the east, and whatever the case may be. You see, for me, politically, these people just throw things into the arena for us to be fighting over, and they usually end up being irrelevant. For me, if that bridge is named after one of the great achievers in our nation, that is from the east or that is from the south, you know, it will make sense. But really and truly, like they said, you know, like you said, the mainland bridge. Was it Mr. Mainland that built the bridge? Was there a Mr. Mainland? It was named the Mainland Bridge because it's a bridge that links the mainland to wherever, and it served a purpose that is very practical. So if you now name that, like the East-West Road, the East-West Road is named East-West Road. Today, I mean, it won't surprise me if before Buhari's tenure ends, they say that because Buhari has built, his government claims to have built one section of the East-West Road, so it should be named Buhari's Road, or maybe Jonathan should have named it, Jonathan's government should have changed the name from East-West Road to Jonathan Road. Really, my brother, see, at the end of the day, it's all about leaving a name somewhere in the face of people, for some people to be irritated, and for some people to be and not to be irritated. I don't know the reason. Like the Arise people said, it's really neither here nor there. But I really just don't understand why a bridge that was started by successive governments, federal government, that is yet to be finished, should be named after a government or the president in the government that says he's going to finish it. So if, for instance, he doesn't finish it, which is possible, you know, they can commission it without the bridge actually being finished. They do that all the time. So if they actually do not finish the bridge and is halfway there before he leaves office, and they now commission it and call it Muhammadu Buhari Bridge, does it mean that the next president can finish it and name it after himself? Or can it be that the president after that can name it after himself? Nigeria is pathetic. It's ridiculous. And the issues that they throw into the arena for us to be chasing around like people who are chasing a dog who is chasing his tail, it just shows us what the politicians think about us, really and truly. You know, anyway, it's really a shame that just to throw this in, Mazi, I was watching a video on Arise again where the campaign of a particular candidate is showing us that his campaign trail is in the UK, on the underground, on the buses and things like that. Oh my God, how ridiculous. I mean, how many times have you seen campaign posters of Boris Johnson or the mayor of London or John Major in Nigeria when they are campaigning? You know, so you look at that type of thinking and imagination, and you begin to wonder, are these the type of people that are going to come and tell us what they would do for us in Nigeria? They are campaigning in the UK. They want to tell us that the campaign posters of Tinubu is in the UK. So what if it is in the UK? It's not true anyway, but then even if it is in the UK, I don't know, have you seen it? Even if it is in the UK on the underground.
I think those were montage video, but then I get.
But I'm trying to point out to you. What I'm trying to point out to you is the pettiness of it all. So a fisherman in my community in Abonima that has not been to Lagos Airport will see that and think, oh my God, this man all the way in the United Kingdom is his posters are there as the president of Nigeria. How on earth will anybody who is involved in campaign will now come and give the impression to gullible Nigerians, you and I are not gullible Nigerians,
with the exception, exactly,
a superimposed campaign in the UK is of any value or proves that this person is capable, of governing Nigeria, for crying out loud, that this person whose life ambition it has been to govern Nigeria now believes that he's just 12 months away from governing Nigeria is pathetic.
Well, you know, you made a comparison that really, if Nigerians think about it, they should get more angry. And that is when you have people who want to lead you, but they have to go take orders from certain countries where they go for medical tourism. At any slightest, provocation, any slightest thing, they move to that country to go and say, I hope we are doing it right, whether it's what they discuss or not. And we have seen that happen recently. But if I come back to the issue of bridge, I think, like I said before, I find everything with the naming, wrong. The things I'm saying today, I will repeat them if that bridge is named after Goodluck Jonathan. I will say the same thing, because for Christ's sake, he did not build it or he did not start it with his own money. If the bridge is named after Olusegun Obasanjo, I will still kick. They must know that these things has nothing to do with them. They are there serving the public and they are being paid. So, if, as you rightly said, if it's named after a hero or an icon, but again, I think the name on itself is so neutral because it's the second Niger bridge. I believe in 10 to 15 years, if we are a thinking people, thinking big, we should be talking about the third or the fourth.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
why can't we, even as you're saying, why can't we just leave it as the second Niger bridge?
Exactly. So it is the second one. The old one is the first. That is the second one. And if we are thinking, there is no reason why Delta and Anambra State should not do a third or fourth one somewhere after Ogbaru or whatever that will boycott, those areas that you can actually, from there, you get into Bayelsa within 40 minutes.
And Mazi, and that's where I was trying to pinpoint for you the fact that it's always about a sense of ownership. If it is not about a sense of ownership, we have River Niger. What is wrong in having a uniformity, for instance, if you like, and calling it as it is identified right from the beginning? The second Niger bridge is the sense of ownership that wants to make people remove what the bridge is called at the time the contract was signed, which is the second Niger Bridge, to now remove the second Niger Bridge, which is the real identity of that bridge, and now remove it and name it after Muhammadu Buhari. It's not even the funding of it alone. It is the psyche of it. The psyche of it on the people, that this is not actually their bridge.
I think
when you call it the Muhammadu Buhari bridge, it's not our bridge. It is not. It's not serving the purpose that is attached to it for us. What the Niger Bridge means to us.
Do you know, if indeed we are a thinking people and we are a nation wanting to become one, at least even on paper, in 1967, there was a massacre that happened in the city of Asaba, where that bridge crosses. What stops us from using that bridge as a memorial for those kith and kin, for those who were unjustly killed? What stops us? What stops us from looking at somebody across the Niger? I believe many people might not raise an eyebrow if you say you call it, as some people watching us now are suggesting to call it Chinua Achebe's bridge. But I think
exactly.
Honestly, anyway, let me take it that Bashar Ahmed is trying to pull our legs, or maybe trying to test the waters. As I still know, if you go to the Julius Berger site, everything I know about that bridge is Second Niger Bridge. I think it might be one of the things that once it's made official, you will see the people reject it the way Lagos State's university then was rejected when, Goodluck Jonathan wanted to make it, because obviously you cannot force the people to take something that does not belong to them. This is something has absolutely nothing to do. The money is Julius Berger, the money is the consortium and Nigerians' money. So, Oga, there is no way you did. In fact, you're not in the picture. All you do is not. And again, the first bridge to be built by federal government, PPP, and we will be paying money for it. So it's not so. If when you think about it, that you will be riding there, and you pay money, it makes you think. What's all these things for? What's all these things for? Anyway, you said something about ownership, which was political. Maybe we'll conclude with this. This sense of entitlement, this sense of ownership, if we drive it down to the political arena, you can see where the southern governors and their northern counterpart are saying presidency must come to the south. Presidency must come to the south. The more I listen to that, the more I am kind of disappointed, because it is something that ought not to have been a question. If anyone believed in anything called equity and fairness, after you have been for 8 years, it should automatically. It's just like if Buhari was to be a southerner, it will be honestly be against logic to argue, southerner must continue. Come on, relinquish the thing to them if you have a nation. But the way they make their argument, you ask yourself, what is that? I think, like I do in private, the people have to really begin to think about what the alternatives could look like, because the nonsense is getting more nonsensical. I don't know what's the take on it.
Definitely on the issue of southern and northern presidency. Again, it is this sense of ownership, justification for ownership that is leading us where we are. I mean, the discussion that the southern governors said the presidency must come to the south. I don't see what is wrong with the word must, because the north itself, during Jonathan's first tenure, were shouting that power must come back to the north, and they use the word must. So I don't see why Southerners cannot use the word must. And I do agree with you when you say that if we really are a country that believes in justice and fairness and equity, we should not be discussing whether or not. It's a dichotomy. Now, it is how the politicians go about it to secure it that is the issue, because at the end of the day, it's you and I, the electorate, and all the electorates across Nigeria that should be determining who is going to be the president of Nigeria. But the discussion and the argument rightly is based on the fact that it must come to the South. And so if we're saying it must come to the South, we cannot have, what do you call it, the wayo that they want to push across, which is that anybody can vie for the position and that any political party can choose whoever they like. No, any political party cannot choose whoever they like. It's a dichotomy. And it is North and South. The South have to decide which of the three zones it goes to. In the South, we have 3 zones. In the North, they have 3 zones. Now, the North decides which of the zones is going to produce of the states of that zone. So the South has never insisted to the North who they should bring. So the North cannot insist to the South who it should be. The South will make that decision if they are going to be able to do it equitably and fairly. You can't have a region that has done 8 years. Obasanjo has done 8 years, my analysis. And Osibanjo has done 8 years as VP. The Igbos have not done any. Niger Delta has done 1 tenure. Now, amongst the South, Southeast, and Southwest, they should be able to, as a 17-state region, to be able to, first of all, be fair amongst themselves and be able to decide which zone it should go to on the basis of equity and justice. And once they are able to do that, they should collectively be able to agree amongst that zone whom they are going to bring support and throw up as 1 or 2 of their preferred candidates, behind whom the electorate is going to stand and vote. And now, the trick, in my opinion, here is that if you give to Nigerians somebody with the past experience that we have had, if you give to Nigerians somebody that they don't want or don't like, they won't vote for that person. So it's very important that we are presented with 1 or 2 persons from whichever zone they decide that it is going to go to. When I mean they, I mean Southeast, South, and Southwest. Decide it should go to this zone. That zone should be able to present to us somebody that we can vote for. And so that person is going to be able to win an election. But that should it come to the South, there can be no doubt that it must come to the South. The North cannot claim that they have a right to present a candidate. Just the same way I believe that the Southwest should not be insisting that they must present a candidate, because on the Southern platform, they have already presented a candidate. But that is a discussion between the Southwest, the Southeast, and the South-South.
That's a very fine place to anchor it. Thank you very, very, very much for being my guest in this Friday Hangout. And as you all know, I am still hanging out here with my sister, Annkio Briggs, the Amazon of the Niger Delta. Many of you know her very well, more than I do. Also, this Friday Hangout comes out every Friday for your information, so you can always join us. We do discuss sometimes solo, myself I lament my life out, you know, discussing things that I think I can talk about without any fear or favor. It's been a brilliant conversation with you, sister. In the last hour 45 minutes, we've been, you know, close to an hour 45 minutes now. We've been on air talking on various issues that concerns us as a people, as a nation, you know, whatever it is. So many of you, if you haven't subscribed to this platform, just click the like button, you know, share this video with others. I've been reading most of your most of your comments. Again, you have been a wonderful guest, and the audience also wonderful audience you've also been. It's a very fine place to live it. I say thank you once more. Again, may God bless us all. Thank you and good night, everyone. I am still Mazi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mazi.
Good night.